Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a little bit of good news, I suppose. Things are starting to look great. I talked to my dad and we've kind of come up with some kind of a budget. So I think the camping gear is not going to be an issue at all, or the travel costs to whatever camping it may be that I would be choosing. But I still don't know exactly where I'm going. I don't know if I'm going to Germany. I don't know if I'm going to Belgium. I don't know if I'm staying in the Netherlands. Or, as my dad suggested, Linz, which is in uh, Österreich, um, uh, Austria. Austria. Sorry, I had to translate again. Sometimes it can be a little difficult for me to translate on the spot, which is kind of ridiculous because when I do it on the spot outside of the camera, it happens instantly. But the camera, I guess that there is a part of me that is still a little bit nervous in front of the camera. I mean, I haven't been doing this for that long anyway, so I guess. Today I also saw something strange. Um, I don't know if any of you have seen it before where you live, but for me, it's kind of something completely new for here in the Netherlands. We have taxis and cabs, of course, but this was a different type of taxi. There was nobody in it. This is the Netherlands. We don't have that type of technology as far as I'm aware, and it makes this really weird noise as well when it's backing up and when it's driving. I can't really explain it. Um, but it was an unmanned taxi or unmanned car that had like the taxi stripes on the side, which we don't really have here in the Netherlands either. They don't put it on the sides here. So I think somebody must have ordered it from America or something. I don't know. It's just completely new to me. I don't know. I know. It's a weird thing to be stunned by, but as somebody who's never seen something like that quite real, like, this is a whole different world, I suppose. I mean, every part of the world has their own things. I'm sorry if I'm wiping my eyes, by the way. I'm having issues with teary eyes. I think I'm having an allergic reaction to some flowers that are blossoming in the bonsais. Between the bonsais from the swamp plant, the flesh-eating swamp plant. So, yeah, I think I'm having a reaction to that because I've been tearing for days. But other than that, I'm fine. So, it is what it is. But I am looking forward to the whole camping experience. It's just that, yeah, I'm still a little bit nervous about going alone. But I also have found a website called travel.com, or is it travel.com or travelbuddies.com? I'm not sure out of the top of my head, but this is a place where you can basically find somebody to travel with. You can chat online, you can talk online, you can, you know, give you personal information if that's what you want, to just be able to speak to one another. So I would like to think that that's definitely something I really appreciate, a really, really great site. And it's not just for camping either, it's also for travel, like travel long distances or traveling in larger groups, things like that, to travel to multiple countries while, I suppose, sharing costs and stuff like that. So I don't know if it necessarily would be safer because you are with a bunch of people that you've never met before, at least not in real life. But I do think it's a really cool concept. I know a lot of people use this, and I don't know. I think it might be something, at least for the future, to consider, because it's never a bad thing to travel with multiple people if you feel like you can trust them. So I will be looking into that and seeing whether or not I can find somebody reliable build up a bond with them, and then see in a year or 2 years, or however long it takes to really form a bond, to do something fun, to go somewhere like Spain or France or Austria. Basically, yeah. I do know people in Austria, so that's not really a big thing, not really a big deal. But yeah, it's just I am both looking forward and looking up against Spain, not because I don't want to go, but because of the heat. I mean, I'm somebody who's really easily overheated, and so that's a little bit of a concern for me. But on the other hand, I mean, the down seasons should be fine, right? The cooler seasons. So I will probably go like in the winter, things like that. I mean, my dad has lived in Spain and he's told me many great stories. And we've actually been comparing the Spanish that he knows, from living there for, I don't even know how many years he lived there. We've been comparing his Spain to the Spain that I've been learning. Spain? Have I been saying that wrong the entire time? Wow. Good morning. Is it noticeable that I recently woke up? Yeah. So Spanish. Excuse me. We have been comparing his Spanish to what he knows, what he's learned in school and stuff like that, to the Spanish that I'm learning now on Duolingo. And what we've noticed is there is quite a difference in what he's saying, especially with his heavy accent. He has a very, very heavy Dutch accent. So when it comes to pronouncing things, I know for a fact he's not pronouncing everything correctly. So yeah, but it's like when you're speaking Spanish, at least on Duolingo, you say things like yo tengo, yo tengo, or yo soy, or whatever. And he just kindly informed me today that nobody in Spain is using yo. So yo is spelled Y-O, and it basically means me or I. And so apparently, according to my dad, nobody's using it. So then I talked to a couple of friends of mine who live in Mexico, that are online friends. Of course, I've never met them in real life, but they told me that they do, in fact, say yo soy. So I suppose the language that I'm learning, the Spanish that I'm learning, is more Mexican based, which would make sense. I believe Duolingo is an American company, so it would make sense that it's the American kind of Spanish, the American learned kind of Spanish, like from Mexico and stuff like that, coming from there, rather than the Spanish that is learned in Spain or around Spain, right? And we have talked about a couple of words, like car is apparently said different, like that there's a lot of differences between Spain Spanish and Mexican Spanish. And that was kind of interesting to see, because he does understand that when I'm saying something, but I've only started 3 days ago, so it's still a little. Did the light just change? Sorry, I'm really easily distracted. But there's definitely some differences, and I've only just started 2 days ago. I've done over 100 lessons, being competitive with one other person who isn't even learning Spanish but Klingon. And me and Diamond, I mean the other guy, his name, I'm not gonna say his full name on Duolingo because I don't want people to go find him, but His name starts with Diamond, and he's currently number one again. I mean, we have this really funny competitive thing. Like we constantly try to overtop each other. And what I found out is that you cannot just place comments. You can actually chat with people on Duolingo as well. So we've actually been chatting, and we kind of just push each other to do better and to learn and to keep it up, which is really really fun. Like it is very competitive, but it's really motivating to learn. It's really motivating me to continue and go on, and not just do it for like 5 minutes a day. I'm actually doing this for hours a day now, which is kind of stupid because I don't actually supposedly have that time, because I'm supposedly be doing other things, right? I'm supposed to do the cooking, the cleaning, all of the things that you can probably guess. And it's just me. It's not just, you know, I don't really have help. I'm taking care of my dad ish. But whenever I'm doing my stuff, like I try to find minutes between whatever it is that I'm doing, and then I'm trying to do a quick lesson or whatever. Sometimes lessons are pretty straightforward in a way of there are certain words that you have heard before, like grande, right? Grande is something you hear on a, a regular basis, I would say, at least, whether it's in TV shows or in music or in conversation, or somehow everybody has heard that word. I mean, Ariana Grande, sure. But yeah, there are just certain words like mikasa, sukasa, which is also, a saying that is used often. And so you kind of learn things without realizing it. And so there have been a couple of lessons that I did under like 2 minutes on Gold as well, just because they were that easy. I already knew the words, even though Spanish isn't really a language that is used here in the Netherlands at all. I'm just constantly on the internet, and most of the things that I watch, I mean, I've said it before, I absolutely despise Dutch. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just there's something between me and the Netherlands I do not understand. It's some kind of disconnect. I do not feel at home here. I do not feel like I belong here. I do not feel wanted in this country. It's a very big thing. Has been since I was a child. Why? I don't know. I cannot explain it. But because of the fact that I'm so into American culture, because my biological father is from New York, and the fact that I'm constantly learning about that, and I think it's really hard for non-Americans not to be involved in American culture, because despite the fact that there are some culture shocks, like the fact that some people in America apparently do not use water boilers, or um, yeah, I'm not 100% sure what you would call them, but we call them water boilers, which is basically just a can on a thing. You put that on, and within a minute, the water is boiling and ready for tea, right? Or instant coffee, or whatever you want to make. And yeah, there are quite a few differences. Also, with toilets, apparently, you guys have something that will pull down, and then the toilet flushes. We have a button on top of the toilet itself, basically. It's a bit strange. There are a couple of really weird differences. And apparently also the way windows open and stuff like that. Like, I need to be careful when I'm ordering things from Wish or Temu or whatever. I mean, I don't like the sites anyway, but I need to be careful not to order American products um, for my windows or for my uh, doors or stuff like that, because often they won't fit, or they just are completely unusable because the windows are completely different. We have windows that go like this. They you know, the straight, and then they go like this and they stay like this, and then there's a gap here and for fresh air. You guys apparently don't have that, but you have those little windows on uh the downside of your window, like this much, and you just slide that up for fresh air. I mean, it's, I would like to say genius, but like you can see on places like Timo and stuff that there are birdhouses and um, squirrel houses and stuff like that where you can put food in, and you can see them from your living room because it's hanging out of the window, out of that gap. Yeah, we cannot order those products because we didn't have that kind of window, or at least I've never seen it here in the Netherlands. And I've seen quite a few buildings. I mean, obviously that was a bit of a weird comment, but okay, we'll just have to let that go. But it's kind of funny, and yeah. So I do have to be careful, but it's like whenever you listen to music or whatever, I mean, most of the music that is being um, played on the radio is also American music, right? It's American pop culture, it's American rock culture, it's whatever, but it's mostly not really from the Netherlands. And of course, there is stuff from the Netherlands on the radio, which is basically why I don't turn the radio on ever. I mean, it's not like I need it anyway, my PC and my phone and whatever. But you get the point, right? I mean, everybody is somehow connected in some way to American culture. Even if it isn't fully, there just are things that we are all invested in, which is probably why people are talking so much about Trump here as well, because here in the Netherlands we have a completely different president and stuff. But even before all of the things, and even before he became re-elected, I mean, he was already a big dog because everybody is invested about what happens in America. Because it's just a really big part of us here in the Netherlands as well. At least I would say. I mean, there are those who are completely disconnected from anything outside of the Netherlands, of course. There are people who have that, but yeah, basically not us. But I suppose the biggest culture shocks are the laws. I mean, we have quite a few laws that make sense for us, but also healthcare. Like, how can healthcare in America be so reckless? Especially when I say reckless, I mean in ways of uh, money, right? I mean, how are you supposed to afford things you absolutely need? Things that an insurance either will not pay for, or you don't have an insurance because you cannot afford the insurance. I mean, that is just a really big question to me. I mean, how? Why? Why is it that the American system doesn't care much about the health of its own people? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, again, I'm not trying to go into politics here, so I'm gonna stop at that. But I don't really understand that at all. I mean, here in Europe, basically free. Healthcare is basically free. We do have to pay maybe a little bit a month. We do have insurance that we do need to pay for, and it is mandatory to have an insurance. You cannot have no insurance. But still, it's, yeah, it blows my mind. It literally blows my mind to know that the healthcare system in America is that kind of bad. Also, apparently, that the drinking water or the water that is coming out of the faucets is also pretty bad, or can be anyway. That also kind of blew my mind. Like, Anyway, I think I'm gonna leave it at this because again, I was trying to make a short video. Guess what? I failed again. And I'm hoping that I'll have internet or that I'll just have connection when I'm uploading because it's been bad. Yesterday, literally minutes after I uploaded, my internet went out for like 2 hours. And after that, it was like spotty for an hour. Like internet, no internet, internet, no internet. Like it was really freaking frustrating. And I don't know what it is that they're doing during the maintenance, but it's always something after the maintenance, right? It's always something. But again, I'm gonna leave it at this. So I'm sorry, I still went on. Anyways, have a good night, have a good evening, have a good day, have a good morning, whatever it may be for you. I love you, and I will see you in my next video, hopefully. Alright, have a good night.